So finally, we can start. And this year, I thought we don't. I talk about something that everybody talks about, and that's AI. Because how good is a keynote without AI in 2024? We'll see. So maybe you have heard hundreds of them. I I did, but I think for us with Typo 3, I wanted to explore the topic if we actually need a CMS, because Gen AI, generative AI, will take over the world, apparently. We're all believers, and that's why maybe we don't even need a CMS anymore. That's the question I asked, because I went to a lot of other conferences and meetups, and there were so many people explaining all the cool things, and I was like, do we really need a CMS? So that's why I'll give you a quick tour about my thoughts on this take. So, of course, Gen AI solves all the problems out there except for choosing the right AI tool on your phone or whatever computer you have. Actually, AI has been around since I think the 70s or even earlier with machine learning and neural networks and all this kind of stuff. But then it got hyped with ChatGPT and OpenAI in October 22. But so AI was around, but now we have Gen AI, generative AI, and of course everybody has their own definition. But the only source of truth in this world is Wikipedia. So I'll give you a quick rundown on generative AI. Artificial intelligence capable of generating text, images, and videos, something we can use in content management system, or other data. I don't know what other data is there, but data using generative models, often in response to prompts. So prompts is like typing something in. Okay. Generative AI models learn the patterns and structure of their input training data. So they get fed with something, and then they generate new data that has similar characteristics. So sometimes the characteristics are correct and sometimes they're not. So that's what they call generative. So then there's this other word, hallucinations. The AI comes up with stuff that's not true because they just come up with new things that hopefully are correct based on the data that they get fed. But the one other part I think is really important here is that Gen AI is not like replacing us at that point today, because it doesn't create new content. It gets fed by something, and then unlike humans, it doesn't create novel content. But so that's Gen AI in general, but what does it do for us in content management? So in our beloved CMS, we can have AI create content for us of any kind, right? Audio as well. I didn't mention this. It's good for translating content. So it's really helpful if I need to translate some Spanish content in Typo 3 into English. So I'd see a use case for that. And then it's also good for summarizing and personalizing content. Hi Dave, here are the 4 most important content elements for you for today. So it's really, really good. And of course, it's about search and research. That also means like it can give you recommendations. It's like, hey, here are the 5 images you've used the most in the past month. Why don't you use one of them for your new blog post? So it's kind of useful, right? And of course, you can generate code for coding with Typo 3. And then you can also say, and while you're actually coding, please tell me exactly what you type with a male voice, with rock music in the background that you generated on the fly. So you can do that kind of stuff if you want to. So that's Gen AI for content management. But I was talking about content management systems as well. So Gen AI was easy because it officially started in October 22. For content management systems, that was a bit earlier because, I don't know, Typo 3 is 26 years old. Maybe it wasn't the first, but it's the best, obviously. A good CMS has a few characteristics I want to show to you. One thing is, for me, it's like a CMS is actually, back then when the web was young, it's like a newspaper, because everybody could publish something for large. Before, publishing something on the web without CMS was only here for the special ones that know this abstract language HTML. And now with CMS, everybody can put something on the web just by being creative. So basically, a content management system puts the editor and not us, the developers, in control. So the editors actually manage content management system. That means a good CMS also separates content from design. It's a content management system, not a design system. So you can use front page or whatever you want. And then if you want to create a new website, you have to start over. A good content management system is about managing the content. It's also not a content creation tool. A content management system isn't Google Docs, because that's where you write stuff, but not where you actually manage to publish stuff. And then there's the other extreme. I know people use, for instance, Confluence or other wiki systems as a content management system. It's really nice, but the cool thing, if you go a bit further, is something that's called page builders. People love that kind of stuff. It's you don't even need to know what the content is going to look like. You just visualize on the go. So that means, oh, maybe I want to have this headline larger than the others, and I want a different font and in pink, and I want a background image. These are page builders. They have their use cases for fancy marketing landing pages. If you don't know what you want to publish, but you know you need the marketing budget to publish something, so that's when you want page builders. But that's like the one extreme where it's not content management, but it's more like a designing thing. But then if you think about page builders, what would be the other extreme of content management? Headless, of course. So is headless actually the answer? Because headless content management systems, I hope everybody heard of that before, that came up in 2015. It's like, if we take away the design part, we just have content, and it doesn't matter if it's HTML or whatever, we just use JSON as output. It's really perfect. And headless was like the first incarnation. Now we have composable CMSs and universal CMSs and all. You can come up with new buzzwords all the time, but we'll stick with headless for the time being. It's really a good idea, but it's not the solution. So I'll give you an example. If you take Microsoft SharePoint, nowadays you can actually export the data on a SharePoint page with JSON, and it's just content, and then the rest is HTML again in one field. So it's like, what's the benefit of having everything else JSON, because it's still wrapped in your logic. You actually have to start managing content when you start defining the content. So, and with that, once you define the content, what the meaning is, then you can actually do stuff with it, headless, AI, whatever you want to feed it to. So this is a bit abstract. That's why I give you a real use case example with our favorite CMS. So I just took a random website, and there you have this content element with a headline and 12 images. With each image has, of course, a link and a text to it. And you somehow need to make this work in a Typo 3 system. So how would you do that? Of course, that's easy, because Typo 3 offers you so many solutions. The easiest obvious one is images only. So you just add 12 images, add a link to each image, and that's it. Who's in favor of that one? Okay, a few. Thank you. It's like you only need to change the HTML, right? Or TypoScript if you want to. Then if you have the Bootstrap package installed, of course, you'll take the card group, because it's kind of like a card, and and it's there. I'm in favor of creating teaser elements, But you can also imagine, because you're the X-Base guy or girl, you just start with product categories records, and then you just insert them and change the rendering. So it's kind of more, it's more fun because it's more complex, and insert records already there. Okay. And then you can, of course, choose the product category teaser list, which is a fixed list of categories to be displayed. Of course, there's even more things like when I, you know, thought about it, we could use the menu content element of pages of fluid slide content. So you can do stuff, so many options. So I choose, you know, the answer. The right answer is the product category teaser list. Because in an ideal world, you already have a product category page. So maybe you have a product page type, product category page type, or records, and you just say, I'm going to manage this content. So I just choose these 12 categories, I order them, and that's what I manage. That's what I want to display on the start page of this small website. So bottom line is that structured and semantic content is key, because we've just talked about product categories. That's the meaning, that's the value to it. So once you have that and you have metadata, like who created this? Oh, this guy created this like 10 years ago and it wasn't touched since then. That's also quite useful information. Not just, oh, images. How good is images? And it's really related to the rendering again. If we have more meaning to it, we can do we can add another channel, like an app, mobile app, or we feed it into our shop system. We can do a rebrush without actually caring about the content, because the content doesn't change. And you know, the good thing about all these things is that Typo3 can do this for us already. So that's actually a key feature, that you can change the design but keep your content. We have block-based content. Oh, I have news teasers, then I have a gallery slider, then I have a product category teaser, whatever. I can build all this kind of stuff. You can customize whatever you want, and we can reuse content. So has anybody of you used this extension news? News is the perfect example for doing it right and wrong. So news means you use the news extension for news because you just put the news in once with the teaser text and the images, etc. And then you place it maybe on 5 different pages, on the archive listing, on the teaser start page, on the detail page, everything's there. But you manage the content in one place, or you add the content in one place. But I also know that people, I guess nobody here uses news for events. But an event is something different than a news. For events, you want to say, show me the upcoming events, or tell me the upcoming events, or the past events. With news, we only see past news, obviously. So there's a lot of different meaning between events and news, but apparently some people love to use news for everything. So it's really important that you start the right way with your content, and it's in the hand of the creators. But of course, that's not just the only parts of Typo3 that's good. I've seen other CMSs, and I can just tell you it's really cool that it's free. So and you also own the content and the code. So imagine your code and your CMS is not free, and they just decide to change the pricing next week. Oops, that happened just recently. And now you need to pay more for it. So it's really important, in my opinion, that your content is, or your data, you own the data, you own the code. It's open source, you can change it, and you can host it everywhere you want. You can host it in the cloud, but you don't need to. But that's the fundamentals, in my opinion, of a CMS. Yes, some nerds can also put it on their local Raspberry Pi because it doesn't need that many resources or scale or something. And everything else really is on top. So basically, once you have your content laid out properly, you have meaning to it, then you can let AI do some stuff for you, right? Actually, personalization will be refined anyways because it's going to be presented to me in the way I talk to other people, and it's going to be different to other people depending on not just their language but on their habits. So that's not part of the content management system. That's what AI can do for us. Or like, oh, we need SEO optimizations. We'll see how long SEO is relevant, but that's a different story. It's not the key part of content management system. So for us, that means as long as we have people reading our content or listening to our content or watching our content, and humans are our target group, we need a CMS. And that's what we do. We deliver the best we can for other people. So that means maybe we should come up with project-specific stuff for our projects. So we don't need to. Of course we're lazy developers, but maybe it's important to decide. Okay, we have 5 different page types. Maybe we just create 5 different page types and not reuse everything from Bootstrap package because it's there already. And that also means for us, we should go back to the roots of a CMS, content management with structure for other people. If you've been following Typo3 in the past years, we've tried to ensure that this is doable. We have introduced webhooks, reactions. We actually split up TCA with more meaning. So hopefully in version 13, we have a TCA type country. So this field, the content of this field is a country field. We've also improved the UX and we added a lot of components under the hood. And we're up to date there. We have CK Editor 5 and Doctrine DBEL 4, all these cool things. But that just gives us the possibility to look at the importance of what a content management system should do. So, of course, people approach us and say, hey, it would be much cooler if we can create custom content types faster. And the backend actually looks like the age of this CMS. It looks like it was built 26 years ago. I personally disagree, but I can say maybe it doesn't look super young, but it's not the freshest. And one part of keeping the content also means that you should be able to upgrade your system. We can do that with upgrades done easier. We're also, I agree with that. People want themes and accessibility improvements. Of course, other systems, AI, whatever, should talk to our CMS in a better way. So let's quickly look into these topics. Maybe some of you have heard the extension content blocks. Where's Nikita? Is he here? They're the guy, the owner and author of the content blocks extension. Of course, there's a whole team behind it, but he's the brains behind it. It's actually the way to go to create a product category teaser in a fast manner. And there's the extension in TER content blocks. It's available for version 12 and 13. And our plans are to implement that into core, but not just as a system extension, but actually to really deeply integrate it into Typo3. And it's actually also an extension that ships with 17 cool features, and we take one at a time and then integrate it into Typo3 core because it really makes life easier for everybody. However, we still have some issues, hard blockers right now on how to have a mixed setup running with existing sites not using content blocks but also adding another content blocks. So that's quite challenging because we want to keep the upgrade path smooth, but we're pretty confident that we can ship most of the functionality in version 13. Then we also have themes, which I also mentioned last year. And there was this Typo3 surf camp. And the surf camp, there will be a session, I think, tomorrow. Everybody of you should join there because you'll see what they actually produced. We had 30 people who created in 6 teams 6 different websites, and not just 6 Bootstrap-based websites, but actually a restaurant website and a intranet, and you have different semantics there as well. So how do you do this? And they should act as a blueprint just to reuse the meaning. If you need another restaurant website, just use the theme, whatever you want to call the extension. So you should actually check out the SurfCamp session. And the SurfCamp participants used to set up, it's called site sets. So there's this other guy, Benjamin, here. Maybe you can, that's the guy. I think he's also doing a presentation. Are you? On site sets. Site sets is the foundation for building themes eventually, because you can just install an extension, modify some values, and you're ready to go. You don't even need to code anymore. So we try to give possibilities to do copy and paste in the right way. So be sure to check out site sets. And we're still missing the GUI, so it doesn't look cool yet, but it's really powerful. And also for themes, we're also working on some import-export functionality to just have some, a restaurant website usually has the same setup. Maybe we can actually import the content as well. We're also working on that. Then I also mentioned accessibility. So there was this thing, or maybe you've heard of it, the government site builder. And people from this project supported us to make accessibility a really key change for us in version 13. Or a lot of things actually went into version 12, but in version 13, we also have accessibility tests that run for every change. So if some guy like me goes to the coding night, changes the colors to whatever, then the accessibility tester should say, no, it's downgrading the accessibility rating. We don't want that. So it actually shows you how to do it right. So that's really cool, and that's what we have with version 13. Of course, a lot of other things. But version 13 is around in October 15th. We'll have a couple of more things for you. One thing people also approached me with was the time to upgrade if you're running on the free version. So Typo3 has 3 years of free community support and another 3 years of ELTS support provided by Typo3 GmbH. So we have 6 years. It's a really long time, I can tell. And what people do, agencies, is upgrading from version 9 to 11. They just skip one because our deprecation strategy allows you to do that. You upgrade from 9 to 11, everything breaks, you fix everything, and then you continue. Of course, we have Rector and Fractor now. I hope there's a talk as well, I think tomorrow. To ease the upgrade, Henny, do you have a comment? No. He's the guy doing the talk. 2 p.m. today. Tomorrow. Okay. So that's definitely worth it because it saves you time so you can relax more. But the problem is, once version 11 is out, every 18 months, then version 13 will be out, and 11 will be in ELTS, so you pay for it, and you only have 2 weeks. So it's really hard to do all the upgrade stuff in 2 weeks, or maybe finish the upgrade stuff because you can prepare a lot of things. So we thought it would be really good if we have a bit more time for the upgrade time slot if you go for the two major version upgrade. I personally do the one major upgrade because I want the new features, but I can totally understand that people just want to go from version 11 to 13. So what does that mean? Once we release version 13 in October 15, we have 3 years. That's end of October 27. And with 27, we get 2 more months. And 28, then 2028, ELTS will start and last another 3 years. So we have more than 6 years. 2030, at some point, we'll get to this, Unix bug with the timestamp because we have such a long support lifetime. We have more than 6 years now of support, and it's really impressive to see that Typo 3 can last that long. It's like SAP. So we have 150 new features, and if you now use Typo 3 version 13, you're good to go for a really, really long time. So now that you've heard everything, something that's really missing in every content management system is, of course, the dark mode. Um, and we'll ship that in version 13. So with version 13, we'll have dark mode, and I think we're then feature complete because that's what we need. Finally, dark mode. So version 14 is obviously not needed anymore, and we have such a long support lifetime. It's perfect, right? So what happens to version 14? Will it be generated by computers, for computers? I can tell you no, because we still have a lot of things to do. I talked about the easier upgrades, and there will be a massive change for the Typo 3 backend and how it looks and how it feels, in a way that it's different between between version 9 and 10, but not. It's still, you'll have the page tree still, right? But managing content will be better, but different. So people who get used to Typo 3 for more than 20 years might see a change. So I won't give you an insight yet, but we're in full swing to do this change, and I think it will finally get rid of this saying that Typo 3 is old, because it will be really cool and look cool. I also mentioned this whole headless stuff. With the preparations we've done for content blocks, headless should be easy to integrate. There might be some difficulties, with plugins, but I'm sure we find a solution for that as well. So version 14 still has some stuff for us. I think we'll talk about this next year, not tomorrow, but next year, and I can demo that stuff for you. So in the end, Typo 3 is made by people for people, and maybe AI will help us for that. So, and there are a lot of cool things with AI. I didn't talk about the nerdy stuff with AI, but you can use some buzzwords here in the next couple of days, like the RAG and vector databases and knowledge graphs, if you want to, because I think these technologies will help us in a content management area as well. It will help us to find things from other humans, for other humans, but not for computers. And in the end, we're all here because of other people, and that's we could sit at home, but it's much more fun to talk to other people. So for me, Typo 3 is always the human factor. I've talked about this a long time, every year, and that's a slide from last year without the text. It's key that we enjoy the community and the discussions that we have, and to connect with people. So I know there are a few people who are here the first time, one or two. I saw some hands. I have a challenge for everybody, and I've done this in the past. And there's the one thing you need to do on the developer days is talk to one other person you don't know yet, and get to know this person, maybe the name and maybe some more things, because that's a unique opportunity to do this here with so many people. Don't be shy. Ask people to get to know them, because we're doing this for other people, and maybe we can help each other out as well, or just to get to know other nice people. That's why we're here. So thanks a lot. Enjoy the developer days. I'm done with my AI stuff, and let's get to regular CMS stuff again. So yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot.